All right, let's get right into it. We're going to tackle a really complex and frankly disturbing story. It's a case that starts with some truly horrific crimes, but as you'll see, it ends in this massive mystery. A mystery that really makes you question everything about power, about justice, and what the truth even is. So this is the big one, right? The question that just hangs over everything. How does the most notorious, most high-profile prisoner in the entire country just die? In a maximum security federal facility, no less. I mean, he was supposed to be under constant watch. So to even begin to understand how that could possibly happen, we've got to rewind a little and look at his final chaotic days. Okay, so when you lay it all out like this, you can see things were escalating and fast. In just his last few weeks, you have a mysterious injury. Then he signs his will just 2 days before he dies. I mean, every single one of these points is a giant red flag. But, to really get the full picture, we can't just look at the end. We have to understand the man himself, or at least the man he wanted everyone to think he was. Yeah, in his own words, Epstein basically painted this picture of himself as some kind of brilliant thinker, someone operating on a whole other level that most of us just couldn't get. He wasn't just another rich guy. No. In his telling, he was a modern-day philosopher. See, he tried to come off not as a money guy, but as a pure seeker of intellect, someone who didn't care about your job title. He claimed he didn't care if a big idea came from a world leader or, a bus driver. It was all about the brain power. Now, what's really interesting here is the world he put himself in. I mean, look at this list. By getting involved with places like Rockefeller University and the Trilateral Commission, he wasn't just rubbing elbows with the rich and famous. He was placing himself at the absolute center of global power, finance, and cutting-edge science. This was the big leagues. And boom, there it is. This quote pretty much sums up his whole persona. He's basically saying that he understands how the world really works, these incredibly complex financial systems that even the most powerful people can't figure out. He saw himself as holding some kind of secret knowledge that set him apart from, well, everyone. But that whole intellectual genius thing, it totally crumbles when you see how he acted under oath in a legal deposition. Suddenly, the philosopher of finance is gone, and all that's left is a defendant. When he was hit with a direct question, the brilliant thinker just vanished, pleading the 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendments. He just refused to answer. Think about that. The guy who claimed to understand the world's most complex systems suddenly couldn't answer the simplest, most direct questions about his own behavior. And he was constantly trying to downplay his past. He kept insisting he'd only pled guilty to solicitation of prostitution, not anything involving minors. It was a little verbal sleight of hand that prosecutors in his 2019 federal case basically said was a flat-out lie. So here's the key point. Right up until the end, he was maintaining his innocence on these incredibly serious federal charges. This was setting the stage for a massive, high-stakes legal showdown that had the potential to expose his entire powerful network. And then, just one single day before his death, the public got this enormous, unprecedented look at the evidence against him. This was a total game changer, and it might have sealed his fate, one way or another. I mean, even the government's own warning tells you everything you need to know. They were basically saying, hey, what you're about to see is deeply disturbing. They knew how graphic and damning this material was, and they put it all out there for the world to see. The sheer volume is just staggering, over 2,000 pages. And think about the timing for a second. On the morning of August 9th, all these documents go public. That same morning, his cellmate gets transferred out. And that night, he dies. The timing made sure his reputation was completely and permanently destroyed, no matter what happened in a trial. Which brings us right back to where we started, the incredibly mysterious circumstances of his death. And when you look closer, it's just a story defined by one shocking failure after another. According to the official investigations, this wasn't just one mistake. It was a complete and total breakdown of procedure. You have a sequence of major protocol breaches by multiple people that created an 8-hour window where the most high-profile inmate in the country was left totally alone and unwatched. I mean, just look at this list. It is unbelievable. It's not one failure. It's a cascade of failures. You've got guards sleeping and lying about it. He's left without a cellmate, which is against the rules. All three, not one, but three cameras covering his cell just happened to fail. And then the cell isn't even treated like a crime scene. And to top it all off, footage of his first alleged attempt was erased because of a so-called clerical error. It's just a lot. And this is why so many questions just won't go away. You have this fundamental disagreement between medical experts. The official ruling is suicide, but an independent forensic pathologist looked at the evidence and saw injuries, like certain fractures in his neck, that he said are way more common in victims of homicidal strangulation than in hangings. And right here, this is the core contradiction of the whole thing. The government's own official investigation confirmed all of these massive systemic failures. They agree the guards fell asleep, they falsified records, they broke protocol, and yet their final conclusion was that, despite all that, there was zero evidence of a conspiracy or any foul play. And what's the result of all this? Well, so far, the powerful clients and associates, the ones people have been talking about for years on some supposed Epstein list, they've never been charged. With Epstein gone, the main path to prosecuting his alleged co-conspirators was slammed shut. So that's where we're left, with this huge, lingering question. Was this all just a story of profound, almost unbelievable incompetence that allowed a man to take his own life? Or did the system's many, many failures provide the perfect cover for something far more sinister? That's the question that remains completely unanswered.